Thank you so much. We will now all be seated. Once again, good morning and mabuhay, and thank you so much for coming to our beautiful country to attend this momentous event. And of course, we all want your visit in this country to be safe and memorable one. For that to happen, let us all listen to the safety briefing to be given by the ASEAN NOC representative. Let's call on Mr. Juan Carlo Marquez.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are now at the latest summer meeting room at the mezzanine of Sofitel Philippine Plaza, Manila. For our safety, there are two main doors in this meeting room. One main door leads to an emergency exit or fire exit as shown in the diagram. This fire exit leads to the north parking assembly area outside this hotel. For your convenience, the restrooms are located outside this meeting room, left of the foyer. Should you need further assistance, you may approach any of our conference officers in this meeting room. Prayer rooms are located at rooms 228 and 229. In case of emergency, we advise everyone to keep calm as security officers escort you to the safe areas. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlo Marquez. And at this part, once again, I'd like to thank you for being here, and I have the honor to present to you the guests and participants in this preparatory meeting. So may I request for you guys to please stand as I call your name to be recognized. Let's start with Brunei. Welcome, Ak Muhammad Amir Mubarak bin Bengiran Hashim and Dr. Andri Lim, our friends from Brunei. Thank you so much. Next, from Cambodia, Ms. Pueng Kim Che and Mr. Fal Pisal. Thank you. We also have our friends from Indonesia, Ms. Set Latika and Mr. Katur Fatsul Ulum. We also have our representatives from Laos People's Democratic Republic, Mr. Tit Pasaban Sayavong, and Ms. Anita Pantabone. Good morning. Thank you. We also have our friends from Malaysia, Mr. Muammar Gaddafi Jamal bin Datuk Wira Haji Jamaluddin, and Mr. Rizmel Datu Abdul Malik. Good morning. We also have our friends from Myanmar, Mr. Thu Raso and Ms. Nat Het Linso. Morning. Of course, we have our friends from the Philippines, Yusek Carissa Sigera, ASEC Paul Anthony Pangilinan, ASEC James Cesar Ventura, and ASEC Percival Sendanya. Good morning. Now let's call on our friends from Singapore, Mr. Cho Ming Su and Miss Nurul Akila Binte Mohammed Kirashid. Now let's call on our friends from Thailand, Mr. Puish Buwandit Kunlanad and Miss Kwanzira Ponsri. And of course, our friends from Vietnam, Mr. Tran Swan Bak and Miss Nguyen Min Tram. Good morning. Now let's proceed to our youth delegates. I'll be calling one by one. Okay? So from our group Entrepreneurship, Nathaniel Nunag, Flor Neil Buen, Michelle Gonzalez, Cedric De La Cruz, Ian Rocha, Irda Fernandez, Gilly Salomon, and Mario Danao. So they are our first group from Entrepreneurship. Our next group is the People-to-People Exchange, August Palagud, Andrea Andres, Catherine Kapunan, Don Makahilo, Mark Palaganas, Sharif Salik, Patricia Young, and Lizette Cruz. Our next group is for competencies and resilience. Melzor General, Raymond Caragdag, Shelly Ortiz, Sydney Del Castillo, Ramon Santiago, Carl Fajardo, and Rachel Miranda. Thank you. Our next group on volunteerism, Carl Mendoza, Denise Yu, Jose Berlon, Maria Therese Castro, Jefferson Mendez, Billy Chan, and Christine Almoite. Our last group is on education, Minami Iwayama, Karen Barcita, Christian Abinal, Nonito Cabrera Jr., Rayana Bazin, Ronel Joseph Competente, and Irene Lotenia. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our youth delegates for this day. And of course, we'd also like to recognize our facilitators for this day. We have Mr. Sultan Hamin Kazan. Good morning. Miss John Lumapay. Mr. Randy Magdaluyo. Mr. Raymond Pipito. And also Mr. Matthew Valdevilla. Thank you so much. So that comprises our guests and participants for today's event, and of course with the assistance of the NYC Organizing Committee and the ASEAN NOC. At this point, may I call on one of the officials of the National Youth Commission to introduce the keynote speaker for this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome ASEC James Ventura.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Philippines, to our friends from our fellow ASEAN countries. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today, always in the service of the Filipino and now the ASEAN youth, the chairperson of the National Youth Commission, Undersecretary Carissa Y. Seguera. A round of applause, please.
I hope you can see me. All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner James Ventura. Allow me first to say mabuhay and welcome to the Philippines to our youth leaders from the ASEAN member states, to our program partners from the Department of Health and the UNAIDS, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the ASEAN 2017 National Organizing Council, to our Filipino youth volunteers, participants, and facilitators, my fellow officials from the National Youth Commission, members of the NYC Organizing Committee, fellow workers in the government. Good morning, everyone. Today marks another milestone in the history of the Philippines' chairmanship of the ASEAN. A decade ago, in the city of Cebu, the Philippines, through the National Youth Commission, hosted the meeting of ASEAN youth leaders and facilitated their interface with the ASEAN leaders through our collaboration with the Committee for the ASEAN Youth Cooperation. At that time, the dynamic role of the youth in realizing the ASEAN community vision was given emphasis and recognition by the ASEAN leaders. The succeeding years saw the active participation of the ASEAN youth in various endeavors in the areas of volunteerism, entrepreneurship, climate change, people-to-people exchanges, education, culture, and advocacies on health, notably in HIV/AIDS prevention. In fact, it is very interesting to note that we have groups such as the ASEAN Youth Volunteers, ASEANpreneurs, ASEAN Young Leaders Association, and other organized groups that showcase the tangible results of the initiatives undertaken by the youth in the ASEAN region, which contributed much to the attainment of regional peace and understanding, appreciation of cultural diversity, as well as promoting economic empowerment among the marginalized sector. For the 2017 preparatory meeting, we adopted the theme, ASEAN Work Plan for the Youth, Transcending Regional Boundaries, because we firmly believe that our essential desire to be involved in major efforts of our respective countries' leaders matter a lot. The ASEAN Work Plan for the Youth that was discussed in the senior officials meeting on youth held in Cambodia in September last year underscored 5 major focus areas that we, as representatives of the youth sector, need to work on. In the area of entrepreneurship, we need to review the provisions of the Manila Declaration on Sustainable Youth Employment that was adopted by the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Youth in 2003. The declaration spells out how the youth, with their enhanced skill set, can pursue entrepreneurial endeavors that contribute greatly to the improvement of the economic conditions of both the individual and the community. The onset of information technology has tremendously provided the best avenue to establish connectivity when it comes to sharing of best practices in entrepreneurship. The youth has become more engaged in innovative entrepreneurial activities utilizing the social media to connect with fellow ASEAN citizens and the world in general. In the area of volunteerism, the ASEAN youth has participated in numerous volunteer activities, more specifically in disaster risk reduction management during and after calamities. In the pursuit of advocacy activities where we practice resiliency, the ASEAN Youth Volunteers Program was conceptualized to become a regular standard of activities for volunteerism where the youth become more attuned to the needs of disaster victims and as active responders to calamity situations. They were fielded in areas where they exerted their best effort to lend a helping hand and mindful of the risks involved. Adding to that, resiliency also covers the area of practicing hygienic habits and healthy lifestyle. We all recognize the impact of HIV/AIDS and those posed by drug and substance abuse among the vulnerable groups, most especially the youth. An intensive advocacy campaign to practice clean living and healthy lifestyle is gaining ground among the young people. The active involvement of the ASEAN youth in physical activities that promote physical fitness should be sustained. Getting to know the ASEAN is a must for all of us. As citizens of the region, we are duty-bound as youth leaders to be at the forefront of activities that promote ASEAN awareness. I hope that all of you are aware of the annual ASEAN Quiz Bee, the ASEAN Youth Debates on Human Rights, the ASEAN Youth Day Meeting, the 10 Accomplished Youth Organizations, or TAYO, in ASEAN, the ASEAN Youth Awards, and other similar youth activities that encourage youth participation, thereby paving the way to gaining more knowledge about ASEAN. These activities are supported at the levels of Senior Officials Meeting on Youth and the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Youth. Further, I would also like to take this opportunity to inform everyone that the draft of the ASEAN Youth Development Index is now going the rounds of the ASEAN member states for comments and inputs. The AYDI, which was proposed by the Philippines through the National Youth Commission and has Indonesia as lead coordinator and is supported by the United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA. We call the AYDI as a dream project because it took several years before it was realized. It is a document that will provide all of us a better perspective of the ASEAN youth's aspirations in various facets of their lives and is envisioned to boost the conceptualization of programs, projects, and activities that are geared towards furthering ASEAN youth development. In our discussions today, please let us keep in mind that the statement that we will convey to our leaders will also carry with it our sustained passion to prepare the best future for this generation of ASEAN youth. Ultimately, let us work together with an open mind, open heart, to prepare the bestest of the best statement that captures the very essence of the task that was entrusted to us to translate the ASEAN Youth Work Plan into action. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's have a fruitful day. Mabuhay to all of you.
Thank you so much, Yusek Carrizo Segura, for that very inspiring keynote message. Thank you so much. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a photo opportunity. I now request the heads of delegation, or HOD, to come on stage for the photo ops. And it will be followed by all the ASEAN delegates present here, Next is the foreign delegation with the NYC officials, and it will be followed by the foreign delegation with NYC officials and local youth delegates. So at this point, may we begin with all the HOD, or the heads of delegation, to please come here on stage.